and welcome to this Bacon Bits video. We're going to take a look at visibility in Bacon, starting with our real-time knock dashboard and our system and job logs. To start off with, let's look at the knock dashboard. We're going to go to monitoring and knock dashboard. So this dashboard has a couple purposes. Starting with number one, it gives you a visual indicator of the health of your environment. So as you can see here, we have different categories. We have healthy, warning, critical, and disconnected. As well as we have this little question mark. How this works is depending on how the machine is reporting back data, we're going to be able to interpret what's going on and give you a healthy, warning, or critical status. So if I click this question mark here, you can see we have our healthy connected workstations, warning, and critical. The main thing you're looking at here is just how many pending patches do they have, and do they have any critical or non-critical alerts. That's usually just enough to push it into a critical or warning status, depending on what's going on with the machine. A couple things to note here, these different filters can be clicked on to change how the table is being displayed, as well as this is interactive, so if you mouse over these and click on them, you're able to go to the endpoint detail page pretty easily. In addition to that, we also on the right hand side have an option for turning on automatic scrolling. So when you have a longer list, you're able to enable automatic scrolling, and it's going to continuously scroll through this and kind of repeat once it gets to the bottom to show all the endpoints available. In addition, we also have this dashboard settings option, and here you can see we can change the number of columns as well as the scrolling speed, so you can have this page scroll faster or slower depending on your needs. So you can set this up for like a static display in the office, just have it give a visual indicator to the health of your environment. Now on the logging side, if we go over to logs here, we have system, jobs, and schedules. So our system logs are going to pick up any kind of activity in the system. So if I type in Dave here, I can see that I'm logging into machines and I'm creating bundles and doing different things throughout my demo sessions. Right, as well as I can also look at what the system's doing under the hood. So if I remove this, I can see when a machine has been added. Just using my little search box up here, so machines that have been added to the system, as well as maybe connection and disconnection, right? We can track all of this kind of stuff too. Now on the job log side, this is going to be for jobs you're pushing through the system. So first off, I want to filter by jobs that were successful. So let's move this to status, and we'll say jobs that are in a complete status. And then depending on the kind of job, that'll show the feedback that you're going to get. So here I can see I was pushing out a file to a machine. If I click on bundle deploy, you'll see that my file was updated on that machine. In this case, I was installing Global Protect on one of my VMs. In the case of something like a profile job log, if I click here, it's going to show me what my profile actually did. So in my task log, because I only have one machine, I'm just looking through the ones for my B webinar 02. And so over here with text, I can see what actually occurred. In this case, I can see my state was enabled. So here I'm setting a firewall policy. Down here, I'm setting up some Bluetooth. Looks like the service was already turned off for me right there. Then I was messing with some registry keys. So I wanted to disable USB storage. And so this, if I scroll to the side, will have more data. And then I can see my login title and my login text. So in this case, I wanted to set up a little disclaimer. So before you log into the machine, it says, hey, this is Bacon Machine, yada, yada, yada. We've got some security practices you must follow, stuff like that. Now over for schedules, just to kind of complete the log section, this shows you what kind of profiles that you have already deployed, and then gives you a quick link to the most recent job ID. So that's going to bring you to one of those pages we just saw here, showing you how this profile actually deployed. In the case of my baseline profile here, maybe even the RoboForm one, I think these devices are offline, and so that's probably our biggest problem. So actually, in this case, this robo install failed. So let's take a look at that. So on my France VM, I have a status of failed. We can see when it started, when it completed. And it looks like as I was going through here, it was trying to close a browser, but that browser's not available. So maybe some error checking has to be made on our configuration internal in the server that we created it on. Well, that's actually a pretty good example of what it looks like when things do fail. You still get a lot of robust logging, a lot of output, so you can see what did and didn't work. In this case, RoboForm is installed on that machine. It was just trying to restart the browsers at the end, and that's the part that it failed on. But if I actually check on this machine, RoboForm is there, and so it could be used in theory. Now, what we're looking at here is really the job table for the entire system, but occasionally it's more important to look at what's running on just a single device. So for that, let's go to hardware and endpoints. And I'll use my France VM again, since we just looked at that one. What we're also able to see here is that same job logs table, but individual to an endpoint. So I'll go to France VM. I'll go to logs. And here I can see everything that was trying to execute on here. So it looks like France VM has been trying to install RoboForm probably like once every hour, I think. Yeah, so once every hour, but because that state hasn't been updated, it's failed every time. But as an engineer, as a technician, this makes it very simple to see what has been going on with this machine and get some good ideas of what may be the issue that you're looking for, or maybe something that you actually have to work on and solve. Now over here on the policy side, if I switch this card over here, we can see that I only have one profile running on this machine, just install RoboForm. So this is a good place to go to see either what kind of configs have been pushed out, maybe my baseline security compliance profile could be applied here, right? This is a good way to see it is not, as well as if I go over to groups, I can see what groups this machine's a member of. So if I know that there are any states applying to certain things, or maybe we push out software to a certain group, this also helps me identify what may be interacting with this machine. So it looks like I have one static group here, but then everything else is dynamic, as it's automatically added to these groups based on the different criteria we're getting back from the reporting. So that's just a quick look at the kind of logs that we have in Bacon. The next episode is going to be covering how to export logs and how to shift tables around to get more data from the system. But that's all we have for this video. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.